and 9, chapter 6 and 9, the first book of Moses called Genesis 6, third symbol 6 and 9, Genesis symbol 1, 4, 7, chapter 6, verse 21. And take thou unto thee of all food that is eaten, and thou shalt gather it to thee, and it shall be for food for thee and for them. Verse 16. A window shalt thou make to the ark, and in a cubit shalt thou finish it above. And the door of the ark shalt thou set in the side thereof, with lower, second, and third stories shalt thou make it. Verse 17. And behold, I, even I, do bring a flood of waters upon the earth, to destroy all flesh, wherein is the breath of life, from under heaven, and everything that is in the earth shall die. Verse 18. But with thee will I establish my covenant, and thou shalt come into the ark, thou and thy sons and thy wife, and thy sons' wives with thee. Verse 7. And the Lord said, I will destroy man, whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, and the creeping thing, and the fowls of the air, for it repented me that I have made them. Verse 8. But Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. Verse 9. These are the generations of Noah. Noah was a just man, and perfect in his generations, and Noah walked with God. Verse 22. Thus did Noah, according to all that God commanded him, so did he. Verse 13. And God said unto Noah, The end of all flesh is come before me, for the earth is filled with violence through them, and behold, I will destroy them with the earth. Verse 14. Make thee an ark of gopher wood, rooms shalt thou make in the ark, and shalt pitch it, within and without with pitch. Verse 15. And this is the fashion which thou shalt make it. Of the length of the ark shall be 300 cubits, the breadth of it 50 cubits, and the height of it 30 cubits. Verse 4. There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them. The same became mighty men, which were of old, men of renown. Verse 5. And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. Verse 6. And it repented the Lord that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart. Verse 19. And of every living thing of all flesh, 2 of every sort shalt thou bring into the ark, to keep them alive with thee. They shall be male and female. Verse 20. Of fowls after their kind, and of cattle after their kind, of every creeping thing of the earth after his kind, 2 of every sort shall come unto thee, to keep them alive. Verse 21. And take thou unto thee of all food that is eaten, and thou shalt gather it to thee, and it shall be for food for thee and for them. Verse 10. And Noah begat 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Verse 11. The earth also was corrupt before God, and the earth was filled with violence. Verse 12. And God looked upon the earth, and behold, it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted his way upon the earth. Verse 1. And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them. Verse 2. And the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. Verse 3. And the Lord said, My spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. Genesis, symbol 4, 1, 3, 8, chapter 9, verse 29. And all the days of Noah were 950 years, and he died. Verse 17. And God said unto Noah, This is the token of the covenant which I have established between me and all flesh that is upon the earth. Verse 18. And the sons of Noah that went forth of the ark were Sem and Ham and Japheth, and Ham is the father of Canaan. Verse 8. And God spake unto Noah and to his sons with him, saying. Verse 9. And I, behold, I establish my covenant with you, and with your seed after you. Verse 21. And he drank of the wine, and was drunken, and he was uncovered within his tent. Verse 22. And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father, and told his two brethren without. Verse 23. And Sem and Japheth took a garment, and laid it upon both their shoulders, and went backward, and covered the nakedness of their father, and their faces were backward, and they saw not their father's nakedness. Verse 24. And Noah awoke from his wine, and knew what his younger son had done unto him. Verse 25. And he said, Cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants shall he be unto his brethren. Verse 12. And God said, This is the token of the covenant which I make between me and you and every living creature that is with you for perpetual generations. Verse 13. I do set my bow in the cloud, and it shall be for a token of the covenant between me and the earth. Verse 14. And it shall come to pass when I bring a cloud over the earth, that the bow shall be seen in the cloud. Verse 15. And I will remember my covenant, which is between me and you and every living creature of all flesh. And the waters shall no more become a flood to destroy all flesh. Verse 16. And the bow shall be in the cloud, and I will look upon it, that I may remember the everlasting covenant between God and every living creature of all flesh that is upon the earth. Verse 3. Every moving thing that liveth shall be meat for you, even as the green herb have I given you all things. Verse 4. But flesh with the life thereof, which is the blood thereof, shall ye not eat. Verse 5. And surely your blood of your lives will I require, at the hand of every beast will I require it, and at the hand of man, and at the hand of every man's brother will I require the life of man. Verse 6. Whoso sheddeth man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed, for in the image of God made he man. Verse 7. And you, be ye fruitful and multiply, bring forth abundantly in the earth, and multiply therein. Verse 28. And Noah lived after the flood 350 years. Verse 19. These are the 3 sons of Noah, and of them was the whole earth overspread. Verse 20. And Noah began to be a husbandman, and he planted a vineyard. Verse 10. And with every living creature that is with you, of the fowl, of the cattle, and every beast of the earth with you, from all that go out of the ark to every beast of the earth. Verse 11. And I will establish my covenant with you. Neither shall all flesh be cut off any more by the waters of a flood. neither shall there any more be a flood to destroy the earth. Verse 1. And God blessed Noah and his sons, and said unto them, Be fruitful, and multiply, and replenish the earth. Verse 2. And the fear of you and the dread of you shall be upon every beast of the earth, and upon every fowl of the air, upon all that moveth upon the earth, and upon all the fishes of the sea. Into your hand are they delivered. Genesis, symbol 4, 1, 3, 8, chapter 15, verse 20. And the Hittites, and the Perizzites, and the Rephaims. Verse 17. And it came to pass that, when the sun went down, and it was dark, behold, a smoking furnace, and a burning lamp, that passed between those pieces. Verse 18. In the same day the Lord made a covenant with Abraham, saying, Unto thy seed have I given this land, from the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river Euphrates. Verse 19. The Kenites, and the Kenizzites, and the Kadmonites. Verse 8. And he said, Lord God, whereby shall I know that I shall inherit it? Verse 9. And he said unto him, Take me a heifer of 3 years old, and a she-goat of 3 years old, and a ram of 3 years old, and a turtle dove, and a young pigeon. Verse 21. And the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Girgasites, and the Jebusites. Verse 12. And when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram, and lo, an horror of great darkness fell upon him. Verse 13. And he said unto Abram, Know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. Verse 14. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterward shall they come out with great substance. Verse 15. And thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace, thou shalt be buried in a good old age. Verse 16. But in the 4th generation they shall come hither again, for the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full. Verse 3. And Abram said, Behold, to me thou hast given no seed, and lo, one born in my house is mine heir. Verse 4. And behold, the word of the Lord came unto him, saying, This shall not be thine heir, but he that shall come forth out of thine own bowel shall be thine heir. Verse 5. And he brought him forth abroad, and said, Look now toward heaven, and tell the stars, if thou be able to number them. And he said unto him, So shall thy seed be. Verse 6. And he believed the Lord, and he counted him to him for righteousness. Verse 7. And he said unto him, I am the Lord that brought thee out of Ur of the Chaldees, to give thee this land to inherit it. Verse 10. And he took unto him all these, and divided him in the midst, and laid each piece one against another, but the birds divided he not. Verse 11. And when the fowls came down upon the carcasses, Abram drove them away. Verse 1. After these things the word of the Lord came unto Abram in a vision, saying, Fear not, Abram, I am thy shield, and thy exceeding great reward. Verse 2. And Abram said, Lord God, what wilt thou give me, seeing I go childless, and the steward of my house is this Eliezer of Damascus?